Hello and welcome to the Glitchless Speedrun tutorial for Nicktoons Unite. Nicktoons Unite was released in 2005 for the GameCube, PlayStation 2, Game Boy Advance, and Nintendo DS, and it is fondly remembered by the many people who played it even to this day. Fun fact, it even sold well enough to make it into the Player's Choice and Greatest Hits lineup respectively. This guide will specifically be covering the version released for home consoles, so if you were looking for a tutorial for the GBA or DS versions, then unfortunately this is not the guide for you, and I'm sorry. Before we begin, I would highly recommend that you play the game casually first, as is recommended with any speedrun. This will help you gain general knowledge of the game's level design, mechanics, and its quirks to say the least, while also building your own memory of the game itself. Memorization is especially very important to playing this game well, as this is a 3D puzzle platformer that you want to remember the solutions to each puzzle in advance. However, if you would like to get into the speedrun scene for this game, or if you haven't played it in a while and need a refresher, then you're in luck because this tutorial will go over every level in the game one at a time. In this first part, we need to go over some important aspects to running this game. First off, in the description, I've left a link to join the Nicktoons Speed Gaming Discord. This way you can ask questions, share your personal times, and discuss whatever you want about these games. The Discord also covers Volcano Island, Attack of the Toybots, and Globs of Doom, along with all of the handheld versions of these games and spin-offs if you're interested in those games as well. This way you can stay updated as new discoveries are made about each game or changes to the rules are made. Next, what system should you use? Runs of the game are performed on PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 via backwards compatibility, Nintendo GameCube, and Nintendo Wii via backwards compatibility. Dolphin Emulator is also currently allowed. USB loaders are banned, meaning you will need a legitimate copy of the game. For Dolphin users, it is up to you to get your own version of the game running, as I cannot tell you where to get it. Google is your friend if you do not know how to dump your own games. Be sure to check the rules so your settings are compatible too. To check the game's rules, simply go to speedruns.com, then go to the search bar and put the name of the game in, then select Show Rules. This guide is going over the glitchless category and its 3 subsections. So if you're unsure about certain techniques, you can go to the Guides tab where you can find a spreadsheet of what is and isn't allowed, plus the rationale behind why some tricks are banned. In the Resources tab, you'll find completed save files for practice and for New Game Plus, along with level splits if you do not feel like making your own. At the moment, runs are done using real time. PlayStation 2 has the longest load times and Wii has the fastest load times, with GameCube and Dolphin falling between them. There are currently talks about removing load times to level the playing field due to the high difference between every version, so if that happens, I'll put a pinned comment with an update down below. Lastly, non-New Game Plus runs are to be done without a memory card, as this game takes forever to load and save and it does it constantly. In Dolphin, you'll want to open up the window, select Config, go to the GameCube tab, and then make sure all of the ports say None. In the main Dolphin window, you can also configure a controller. Click on Controllers and then under GameCube, select the correct port and controller type you'll be using for your run. If necessary, select Configure. Here you want to select the correct controller you are using, and from there you can press the button on the controller that will correspond with which GameCube controller button you would like to map it to. Here's a picture of one for reference. In the guide, I'll mainly be referring to GameCube buttons, so it is good to get used to this now if you are not already. With all of this in mind, you should have every resource you need to start running Nicktoons Unite. Stay tuned for the next part where I'll be discussing the game's basic mechanics, including things such as the controls, the characters, items, upgrades, and possibly more.